Chapter 11. Letters I Didn't Send. Some letters never leave the page. I found that out one Saturday morning, curled up on my bed with the diary open. Sunlight leaked through the blinds in thin stripes, dust floating lazily in the golden light. Everything was quiet, too quiet, and that made it easier to write. Dear you, I began, the pen moving almost on its own. There are things I'm too scared to say, but they still exist. I hesitated, then continued. Some names shouldn't appear here yet. Some words aren't ready for air. The diary didn't judge. It didn't roll its eyes. It simply accepted what I gave it. That was comforting in a way no one else ever had been. Later that day, Julian stopped by unannounced, holding a backpack that looked like it had been dragged through a tornado. "Hey," he said, "thought I'd drop in before Mom drags me out to errands." I smiled. Perfect timing. He plopped down on the floor. "What are you working on?" "Nothing." "You sure?" He gave me the "I know you're lying" look. "Maybe," I admitted, shrugging. "Just thinking." He laughed. Classic May, always thinking. I pushed the diary slightly to the side, not wanting to show him yet. Some things were private, even from him. By evening, Ethan texted me. Just a simple, "You free to meet?" I checked my calendar. Free. Too free. I grabbed my jacket, slipped on sneakers, and headed out. The sky had softened into a late afternoon gray. Rain threatened but hadn't arrived. The air smelled like wet concrete and fresh beginnings. We met at the small park near the corner cafe, where sunlight turned puddles into mirrors. "Hey," he said, smiling easily. "Hey." We walked side by side. Conversation flowed in small bursts. School projects, photography club, jokes about Mr. Alvarez's obsession with reflections. But underneath, there was an unspoken tension, the kind that made my chest tight even when nothing had been said. We found a bench and sat. Rain started as tiny drops, then heavier, but the canopy of trees kept us mostly dry. "You write much?" he asked, nodding at the backpack. "Sometimes." I didn't say it was a diary, though my heart skipped. He didn't press. He just shrugged. "Cool." We sat there quietly for a while, no one else around, only the patter of rain, the faint hum of traffic, and the weight of things left unsaid. That night, I wrote again in the diary. Some letters will never leave the page. Some words exist to remind me I'm alive. I closed it carefully and placed it under my pillow, thinking about how easy it was to tell everything here and how hard it would be out loud. Mondays always felt heavier, no matter how much sleep I got. The alarm went off too early, and the bus ride felt longer than it should. Ethan and I ended up sitting together as usual. The seats creaked under us, the bus chatter around us like background noise, and still, it felt like our little corner of quiet amidst the chaos. "You look tired," he said, glancing at me. "I am," I admitted. "Too much thinking over the weekend." He nodded, understanding without prying. Sometimes that was better than words, someone getting it without explanation. At school, Julian had already claimed our usual lunch table. "You look like you're hiding something," he said as I sat down. "I'm not hiding," I replied. "You are." "I'm thinking," I said, careful. "That's code for, I don't want to talk about it," he pointed out, reaching for a sandwich. I smiled despite myself. Exactly. The rest of the day blurred between classes, bell rings, and small assignments. Even the photography club felt different, quieter somehow, as if the world was waiting for something big to happen, but no one knew what. After school, Ethan caught up to me near the lockers. "Want to go grab a smoothie?" he asked. "Sure," I said. "Why not?" The cafe was small, with the usual smell of coffee and pastries. We sat across from each other, sipping drinks, the conversation light at first. Classes, homework, minor photography mishaps, and still, it felt like our little corner of quiet amidst the chaos. "You look tired," he said, glancing at me. "I am," I admitted. Too much thinking over the weekend." He nodded, understanding without prying. Sometimes that was better than words, someone getting it without explanation. At school, Julian had already claimed our usual lunch table. "You look like you're hiding something," he said as I sat down. "I'm not hiding," I replied. "You are." "I'm thinking," I said, careful. "That's code for, I don't want to talk about it," he pointed out, reaching for a sandwich. I smiled despite myself. Exactly. The rest of the day blurred between classes, bell rings, and small assignments. Even the photography club felt different, quieter somehow, as if the world was waiting for something big to happen, but no one knew what. After school, Ethan caught up to me near the lockers. "Want to go grab a smoothie?" he asked. "Sure," I said. "Why not?" The cafe was small, with the usual smell of coffee and pastries. We sat across from each other, sipping drinks, the conversation light at first. Classes, homework, minor photography mishaps, and still, it felt like our little corner of quiet amidst the chaos. "You notice things," he said, softly, half to himself. "What things?" I asked. "Everything," he said simply. "The small stuff most people miss." I laughed softly. "You notice too much." He smiled. "Maybe, but not enough to make it awkward." Later that evening, I opened the diary. "Dear you," I wrote. "Confessions don't have to be dramatic. Some of them just exist quietly." I paused, staring at the page. Some feelings are easier to write than to say. Some words are safer in ink. I closed the diary and tucked it under my pillow. For the first time that week, I felt like things could stay messy and safe at the same time. Chapter 13. Moments between words. There are moments that slip by quietly, but leave a mark anyway. That morning, I met Ethan outside the school gym. The sun was just peeking through clouds, wet pavement reflecting the soft light. He was already holding 2 coffees, one for me. "Thought you might need this," he said, handing me the cup. "Thanks," I replied, smiling. The warmth of the cup against my hands felt strangely comforting. We walked together to class, slow enough to notice the little things, the way a leaf clung to a puddle, the distant chatter of students, the familiar hum of the city waking up. During lunch, Julian was at our table, eating a salad and complaining about homework. "You two are definitely conspiring," he said, raising an eyebrow. "I can feel it in the way you look at each other." "I'm not conspiring," I said. "You are." "I'm thinking," I said, careful. "That's code for, I don't want to talk about it," he pointed out, reaching for a sandwich. I smiled despite myself. Exactly. After school, photography club sent us outside to capture shadows. I focused on corners of the courtyard, places people rarely noticed. Ethan was nearby, crouched to photograph a small puddle reflecting a tree. I snapped a picture of him without thinking. The way his hair fell in front of his eyes, the concentration on his face, it was a perfect, fleeting moment. "May," he said softly. "That was good." I smiled, a little embarrassed. "Thanks." He didn't push for more words. He just nodded, as if agreeing that some things didn't need explanation. That night, I opened the diary. "Dear you," I wrote, letting the pen move freely. Some moments don't need words. They just exist. I paused, thinking about the small interactions, the almost touches, the silences that carried more than conversation ever could. But some moments demand to be remembered anyway. I closed the diary and slid it under my pillow. Quiet could be powerful, I realized, especially when it held hope. Chapter 14. Things you notice. Some days, small things make the biggest difference. That morning, I arrived at school earlier than usual. The hallways were mostly empty, sunlight spilling in through the windows, bouncing off lockers. Ethan was already there, leaning against the wall, checking his camera settings. "Morning," I said. "Morning," he replied, eyes focused but smiling when he looked up. We walked together to first period, side by side, not saying much. It wasn't uncomfortable. It never was. but the silence felt meaningful, like we were in sync without needing words. At lunch, Julian noticed something. "You're acting different," he said, raising an eyebrow as he bit into his sandwich. "I am not," I said, though I knew I was. "You are," he pressed. "It's subtle, but it's there." I laughed softly. "Maybe I just noticed more things." "Or maybe it's him," Julian said knowingly. I didn't answer, because he was probably right. After school, photography club had us explore the school grounds for textures and patterns. I wandered along the side corridors, snapping pictures of peeling paint, sunlight through windows, shadows cast on the ground. Ethan found me and crouched to take a picture of the same spot. "May," he said, "you always see the details no one else notices." I shrugged. "Someone has to." He smiled a little shyly, and for a moment the world seemed smaller, quieter, more contained. That night, I opened the diary. "Dear you," I wrote, "notice the small things. They tell stories the loud ones can't." I paused, thinking about Ethan, Julian, and the quiet weight of afternoons that felt simple but weren't. Some observations don't need to be shared to matter. I closed the diary and tucked it under my pillow. Some things were powerful just by existing, even if nobody else saw them. Chapter 15. Almost Confessions. Some truths hover right below the surface, almost ready to spill. That Friday afternoon, Ethan and I walked home together after photography club. The sky had turned soft gray, drizzle threatening to start, and the streets smelled like wet asphalt. "You've been quiet today," he said, glancing at me. "I'm thinking," I replied. He didn't push. Sometimes that was enough. Just having someone notice without asking for explanations made all the difference. At lunch earlier, Julian had teased me relentlessly. "You two are getting worse," he said, waving his fork at the air. "The way you look at each other, it's like watching a slow-motion movie." "Slow motion is dramatic enough," I replied, trying to keep my smile casual. "Exactly," he said, grinning. The rest of the day blurred. Classes, bells, and minor homework tasks moved past, but my mind kept returning to Ethan. The small gestures, the nearly there touches, the things left unsaid. After school, we found a bench under a tree, dry enough to sit while rain started softly around us. Ethan said, voice low, "I've been thinking, maybe we don't need to pretend anymore." I paused. "Pretend what?" "That we don't notice each other, that none of this matters." I laughed softly, a little nervous. "It matters, I just don't always know how to say it." He smiled. "Good, I don't either, but maybe that's okay." We sat in silence for a while, letting the drizzle wash past, letting the almosts linger. That night, I opened the diary. "Dear you," I wrote, "almost is a dangerous thing. It teases and taunts, but it also keeps hope alive." I paused, thinking about the small confessions I hadn't yet said aloud. Some words wait until you're ready. Some feelings wait too. I closed the diary gently, slipped it under my pillow, and lay awake thinking about how close we'd come to saying everything without a single word being spoken. It wasn't perfect, it wasn't complete, but it felt like a beginning. Chapter 16. Waiting for the right moment. Some moments wait for you, even when you don't notice. That Monday morning, I met Ethan at our usual spot by the lockers. He had his camera slung over his shoulder, a small smirk on his face. "You look ready," he said. "For what?" I asked, curious. "For the week. For everything." I laughed softly. I don't think anyone's ready for everything. We walked to class together, our steps matching naturally. No words were needed. The comfort was in the rhythm, the familiarity. At lunch, Julian teased again. "You two are like magnets," he said, rolling his eyes. "I swear it's visible from space." "I think you're exaggerating," I replied, smiling. "Maybe," he admitted. "Or maybe I just notice things other people don't." The afternoon passed with classes and small chores, homework, announcements, the usual shuffle of students. Photography club was the highlight, as always. Mr. Alvarez asked us to find patterns in ordinary things, something most people would overlook. I crouched near a puddle reflecting the sky. Ethan was nearby, focused on capturing a shadow cast by a nearby tree. I watched him quietly, noticing how seriously he took everything, how careful he was with each shot. "You notice a lot," he said, suddenly looking up at me. "I try," I replied. "That's good," he said, smiling. "It means you care." Later, walking home together, rain began to fall lightly. We shared an umbrella, small droplets making soft patterns around us. The silence wasn't uncomfortable. It was easy, safe, and somehow full of meaning. That night, I opened the diary. "Dear you," I wrote. "Some things take time. Some moments wait until you're ready to see them." I paused, letting the thoughts settle. Waiting doesn't mean missing out. It just means the right moment hasn't arrived yet. I closed the diary, slid it under my pillow, and let the quiet fill the room. For once, waiting didn't feel like a burden. It felt like part of the story. Chapter 17. Small Choices, Big Moments. Tuesday felt heavier than usual, though nothing seemed different. Ethan and I met at the lockers as always. He had his backpack slung lazily over one shoulder, camera case in hand. "You ready for today?" he asked. "For what?" I replied, even though I knew exactly what he meant. "For whatever happens." I laughed lightly. "I think we can handle it." We walked to class together, stepping carefully around other students, small talk drifting between us, homework, Mr. Alvarez's odd instructions, Julian's constant teasing. But beneath the conversation, there was something unspoken. At lunch, Julian was waiting with a knowing grin. "You two are impossible," he said. "I can see the tension from here." "Not impossible," I replied, "just complicated." "That's even worse," he said, shrugging. Photography club was next. Mr. Alvarez wanted us to explore hidden stories, patterns people overlooked. I crouched near the side corridor, snapping shadows and reflections, while Ethan focused on capturing textures of the courtyard. He glanced at me and smiled, noticing me notice him. That small moment, barely there, made my chest tighten. After club, we walked toward the bus stop. Rain threatened again, light mist coating the sidewalks. "I think," Ethan said, softly, "we need to stop avoiding it." "Stop avoiding what?" I asked. "The things we both know but don't say." I swallowed, unsure if words could carry the weight they needed to. "Maybe some things are better shown than said," I said, half joking. "Maybe," he replied, "but some things need to be admitted." That night, I wrote in the diary, "Dear you," I wrote. "Small choices can lead to big moments. Sometimes it's the things we finally say or almost say that matter most." I paused, thinking about how easy it would be to say nothing and how hard it felt to say anything at all. "Almost is a start," I added. I closed the diary, slid it under my pillow, and lay awake. The small choices, the quiet acknowledgments, the almosts, they were shaping everything, even if the story wasn't finished yet. Chapter 18. The Space Between Us. Wednesday afternoon felt slower than usual. The halls were crowded, but my mind focused only on small things. How the sunlight hit the lockers, the muffled laughter echoing down the corridor, and Ethan's presence beside me. He didn't say much, just walked with me, shoulders occasionally brushing, the kind of contact that felt deliberate yet casual. "You're quiet," he finally said, glancing at me. "Just noticing things," I replied. He smirked. "I noticed that too." Lunch was at our usual spot, the corner table Julian always claimed. "You two are like a magnet and metal," he said, rolling his eyes. "I can't unsee it." I laughed. "You're ridiculous." "Maybe, but also observant," he replied. Photography club came next. Mr. Alvarez had us capture movements unseen, encouraging us to notice subtle motions, leaves fluttering, shadows stretching, people passing by unaware. I focused on a puddle reflecting a tree and caught Ethan crouched nearby, taking a shot of the same spot. "You always see the details," he said softly, eyes meeting mine. "Someone has to," I replied. We walked home together afterward, rain drizzling lightly, umbrellas half forgotten. The conversation was minimal, but the silence wasn't empty. It carried the weight of understanding, of almost confessions, and the quiet acknowledgement that some things were more important than words. That night, I opened the diary. "Dear you," I wrote. "The space between us is loud. Every glance, every brush of skin, every small hesitation, it all speaks." I paused, reflecting on the tiny interactions that meant more than any declaration. Some of the most important things exist in the spaces between words, I added. I closed the diary and tucked it under my pillow, letting the quiet linger. It didn't need resolution yet, it just needed to exist. Chapter 19. Almost Saying Everything. Thursday felt like it carried a quiet tension, the kind that makes your chest heavier without anyone noticing. Ethan and I met by the lockers, as usual. His hair was slightly damp from the morning drizzle. He smiled when he saw me. "You okay?" he asked. "I'm fine," I said, though my stomach told a different story. We walked to class together, side by side, letting small touches linger longer than usual, almost saying what we meant, almost crossing lines we'd only ever acknowledged in our thoughts. During lunch, Julian was impossibly perceptive. "You two are terrible," he said, laughing. "Do you even realize it?" "I think we do," I replied, smiling. "You're both too stubborn. It's entertaining, but frustrating." After school, photography club was the usual mix of movement, light, and shadows. I noticed Ethan more than the assignment. How he tilted his head to frame a shot, how he crouched carefully, the way he seemed completely absorbed, yet still aware of me nearby. "You notice a lot," he said quietly, glancing up. "I try," I replied, matching his tone. The walk home was silent but full. Each step, each glance, each almost word hung in the air, making everything feel closer, though nothing had been said. That night, I opened the diary. "Dear you," I wrote, "almost is dangerous. It's tempting, it teases, and it lingers." I paused, thinking about all the words I hadn't said aloud, all the feelings still held back. Some things wait to be said until the moment is right. I closed the diary and slid it under my pillow. Almost had carried me this far, but I could feel the edges of what was coming, edges I couldn't ignore much longer. Chapter 20. Saying What Matters. Friday afternoon came with a soft glow, the kind that made everything feel slightly slower, slightly more important. Ethan and I met outside the school courtyard. The sun was low, streaking through the clouds. No one else was around, just us. "You ready?" he asked, voice low. "For what?" I teased, though my stomach fluttered. For this, he said. And it wasn't just about walking home. It was the moment we'd both felt coming, the one we'd almost said out loud for weeks. We walked together, side by side, letting the silence stretch, knowing words would come eventually. The drizzle began lightly, misting our hair, coating the sidewalks. You know, he said softly, I've been wanting to say something. I looked at him. I think I've been wanting the same thing. He smiled, small and nervous. I like you, May. More than almost, more than maybe. I've been trying to figure out how to say it without ruining whatever this is. My chest felt like it would burst. Words I've kept locked in my diary for weeks wanted to escape all at once. I like you too, I admitted, barely above a whisper. More than almost. He grinned, relief and excitement mixing in his eyes. Good, because I wasn't sure you felt the same. We walked the rest of the way in quiet companionship, rain dripping from tree branches, the city soft around us. It wasn't perfect, but it was ours. Honest, messy, real. That night, I opened the diary one last time. Dear you, I wrote. Some things are meant to be written. Some things are meant to be said. And sometimes both are necessary. I paused, smiling. Almost doesn't last forever. Sometimes it becomes everything. I closed the diary and slid it under my pillow, finally at peace with the words spoken, the feeling shared, and the story still ahead.